a lot of people don't know wetin dey happen for Niger. Why they fight? Why they cut shit? The same thing where our politicians they do us here, now they do them. I want just play this video for now. When I just see when I see our African leaders, they're wicked. They prefer make their account they okay than the country where they get the money, so they don't want to do away. Cause see by yourself how they do Niger. If now you will support themselves now. Those of you never watch away they talk to ya.
Have you ever wondered why most resource-rich countries are so poor? Why can they not get the full value of their resources? Why are they victims of poverty and unemployment? I mean, just look around you. Venezuela has oil, the Democratic Republic of Congo has diamonds, and Angola has both oil and diamonds. And yet, these countries are all poor, just like Niger. It has a wide variety of minerals and resources. It is one of the world's biggest producers of uranium, a major producer of gold in the African continent, and a major source of oil in West Africa. Yet, the country has not been able to cash in on its resources. It remains one of the world's poorest countries. 42.9% of its people live in poverty, 83% of them live in rural areas, and 20% of them cannot meet basic daily needs. Why? Is the country suffering from the resource curse, the paradox of the plenty, or is it a victim of foreign exploitation? You know, a casualty of the global battle for resources. It has been over 2 weeks since the coup in Niger. The country's constitution has been suspended. Foreign troops are being forced to go back home. And the supply of uranium sales to the West might stop. That's right. Niger's junta is threatening to stop selling uranium to the West. A move that might hurt Western nations deeply. And here's why. According to a World Nuclear News report, Niger supplies around 5% of the world's uranium, a resource critical to Europe's nuclear energy. According to the Euratom Supply Agency, the EU purchased around 2,905 tons of raw uranium in the year 2021. And this, by the way, represented about 24% of the EU's uranium imports, putting Niger ahead of Kazakhstan as the EU's leading source of uranium. Which European country buys the most uranium from Niger? France. Niger accounts for 15% to 17% of the uranium used to generate electricity in France. So if the junta halts the supply of uranium, France would be the biggest loser. And observers say that Paris invited this upon itself. Have a look at this 2013 report. It was published by Oxfam. It said that France was making a killing, profiting off the uranium in Niger. Yet, the people of Niger have seen almost no benefits from this uranium extraction. 1 out of every 3 light bulbs in France is apparently lit because of Nigerian uranium. Yet, in Niger, nearly 90% of the population has no access to electricity. Why is that? Why is the world's 4th largest uranium producer and a strategic supplier to France still poor? Why has it failed to benefit from the revenue of this extraction? Here's what Oxfam said. The multinationals that are mining uranium in Niger have a habit of signing secret agreements and indulging in close negotiations. There is no transparency and there is no equity. The deals are more accommodative for the firms that mine uranium than the people of Niger. And is this why the French embassy in Niger was attacked immediately after the coup? Have a look at these visuals. On the 31st of July, thousands of people backing the coup in Niger assembled outside the French embassy. They waved Russian flags and chanted, "Down with France." It does not end there. On the 10th of August, a senior advocate from Niger's neighbor, Nigeria, blamed the coup on the exploitation of resources. He said the reckless exploitation of natural resources is one of the principal driving forces behind the unsettling political unrest and the rise of unconstitutional changes in government, not just in Niger, but in the entire West African region. Let me quote from his exact statement. The implementation of the anti-people's policies of the foreign forces has continued to increase the poverty of the entire people of the region. Such exploitation is compounded by the control of the national economy by the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. Now, these are big claims. Is there any merit to them? There certainly is. You see, Niger is not the only state in the region with valuable strategic resources that has witnessed a coup. Have a look at this map. In the year 2021, the Republic of Guinea witnessed a coup. It holds the distinction of being the world's largest producer of bauxite, an essential mineral for a host of industrialized economies, especially Europe. Same story with Mali. In 2021, the country was ranked as the fourth largest producer of gold in Africa, producing about 63.4 tons. The same year, the country witnessed a coup. And then we have Burkina Faso. It is the fifth largest producer of gold in Africa, producing around 45 tons. In January 2022, Burkina Faso also witnessed a coup. You know what's common among these countries? Most of their resources are mined by foreign companies, companies that are either from the US, Canada, or France. I'm not saying they go there with vested interests, but there is some level of exploitation that indeed does take place. Have a look at what this report states. It talks about how, despite the end of French colonialism in West Africa, the country still maintains neo-colonial policies, effectively controlling West African economies by making them use the CFA franc as their national currency. Let me quote an excerpt from the report. The CFA franc is a barrier to industrialization and structural transformation in these countries. It is a neo-colonial device that continues to destroy any prospect of economic development in user nations. And this economic exploitation, by the way, is just one piece of the puzzle. The other is military dominance. You see, the United States has one of its largest and most important drone bases in Niger. The Air Base 201. It cost $110 million to build and an additional $20 to $30 million per year to maintain. That's right, the US is spending millions on a military base in one of the poorest countries on earth. This base has been functioning for years, yet it has not brought the Nigerian people any prosperity. By all means, it only serves America's geostrategic interests, helps it protect French and American economic activity. The point I'm trying to make is fairly simple. This external influence and interference in West African countries, coupled with the unchecked extraction of the region's vast natural resources, may explain why the militaries and the people of these states have risen in revolt. Their actions cannot be justified by any means. But maybe it's not just power that they are seeking. Maybe they are also seeking complete decolonization, complete control of their resources, and complete sovereignty. Think about it.
Come on. They give France, we did they give for their economy, they give France light and the country not get light. Now they get pass. You see, as African leaders, they're wicked. They don't turn Africa to workshop. It's not a country. Nigeria say na say it's big. Nigeria not be country, na workshop. Where people take they work and shop. Why people they do their country? We say this is a country like the way their house they be. Our politicians know here na workshop. Their children do up time, most scatter the country with oil, get everything. Nothing. Diamond said, don't this country will go do nothing. So people just do one corner they shoot. Nothing they work. Show na does here. Let me go to the other news.